Hey folks, LA Little here with TA Today. I got a request on the last video saying, hey, how about nuclear? You know, what's happening with nuclear? Uranium, great. We all know that, things are happening there, but how about nuclear? And so today I'm going to look at nuclear, and I'm actually going to expand a little bit and look at things beyond nuclear, really just about how are you going to fuel all these data centers. And there's actually some names outside of quote-unquote nuclear, the things you think of like OKLO, GEV, some of the others, that make sense. They make a lot of sense from a technical perspective. So let's look at those, decide what those are, and make sense of those. The first thing to start with is NLR, which is the ETF for uranium and nuclear. And I want you to look at how weighted it is. Here's the holdings as of today. And let me get it up here so we can see it. And when you look inside of this, what you're going to notice is that of the top 10 holdings, that's about 50% of the that's 50% of the weighting in the top 10. And if you look beyond that, you're going to see that Denison, uranium, energy, of course Cameco, and then there was another one down here, Kazapon. I think that's number 11. But anyway, you've got quite a bit of weighting just in the miners themselves. So, when you look at this chart, realize that the weighting beside or inside of it is a little bit different than what you see. Now here is the chart. I'm going to pop it up, make it big so we can see it together. And the first thing that you should bring your attention to is the fact that you had breakouts here. Right, you got over swing point high, you got over another swing point high here. Prior to that, you had gotten over this swing point high. So you can see the momentum, especially at this price point, was starting to tell you that yes, this thing's going higher. And then of course, since then, you got one dip back in to do the retest, and then it just took off. And that's not it, that is typical, I should say, as to what happens, right? A lot of times, you'll get your breakouts and then you'll get your retest, usually within 1 to 2 bars. It's what I wrote about in the books. It's what I've practiced for years now. If you believe in this process where you break and then you retest, that's your best buy point. You have more information when you get down here than you had when you broke out. When you break out, you're not sure. But once you test and you see that it's going to hold and it starts to regenerate, that's when you can throw the money at it and say, okay, this thing's going. Now that's the daily. If you look at the weekly, and the thing to look at here also is, a high price point on this was 150, 168. Got all the way back down to 117. So the point is that even on the ETF itself, right, that's a 30+% haircut, right, in the space of 4 or 5 weeks. That's hard to hold through if that's what you're doing, right? At some point here, and we could talk about this in a different video if you want. If you want, leave me comments, and I'll do that. But when you get these spikes, right, and you leave volume at the top, you're eventually going to come back to it. And that's what this is trying to do. And I suspect it's going to get there. So you're sitting at 140, almost 150 now, 148.54. That top was 168, right? So you're looking at another, 14 points, another 8, 9, 10% to get back to that top. And so that's what's in store here. And if we go to the monthly, you can see again, volume at the top, and you're coming back to find it. So I like the way this is set up. Now again, remember, we're looking at uranium and we're looking at the miners themselves, as well as those that are doing actually energy at site on AI centers. You're a little bit overextended out here, but that can happen. Somewhat pushing here. But still, you've got confirmed 155, then the 172 is probably going to confirm fairly soon. And so I like the setup here on nuclear, the NLR itself. Now, Let's go to some of the names inside of it. I'm going to go to ASPI, which is the isotopes. You can see here again, this was like 60-70% haircut. Is it going higher? Yeah. Did it leave volume at the top? Yeah. Everywhere you look, volume at the top. Probably going to go back up there. Do you want to hang around and make that trade? Yeah, you can. You just have to use common sense about how you do it. You've got a breakout over here on the daily, volume expansion, which is great. You come back in, you didn't quite retest yet. That still could be coming, but even if it does now, that's almost a guaranteed buy at this point. So if you get weakness here, yeah, you can buy it. Maybe you kind of put some on and then put some more on if you get the weakness. But this wants to go back to the top. As soon as it gets over this bearish retest regen, which is around 9, that's the next target. So isotopes looking pretty good. Nuclear construction, BWXT. Let's look at this one. Here you've got a push all the way back to the highs, testing them now, 218.50 to 1789 was the close. This is about to break out on multiple time frames. Looks great. Place you can put your money. I've already done the uranium, so I'm going to skip those. I'm going to go to CEG. This one's going the opposite direction. Is this where I'd put some money? No. Let it bottom out somewhere. If it wants to come all the way back and test this swing point high, that would be a sweet spot. But you got a ways to go, and right now it's just doing a bullish retest regen here, third test, which means probabilities are not that great that it regenerates. So that's kind of a hands off to me. Next one we'll skip. Let's go to GEV. This one actually looks really good. So when you go from high to low, percentage wise, this maybe was 10%. When you look at everything else and you see this one's only 10%, that tells me this is a good, strong stock. And now you can see it's starting to roll back up, about to test the swing point high. You got volume at the top here, volume at the top there. This one's going to the highs again. So solid name and well positioned. LEU is Centris Energy. This one actually doesn't look too bad. Again, if you do the top to bottom, 464 down to 221. So you cut it in half plus. So again, these can take big rides, folks. So, if you're playing these things, you're going to have to go down. And again, I could talk about the strategy on something like this, but you're going to have to go down and use your daily time frame to do your entry exit type stuff as you build a position to get back up to the top. This one's not as clean at the top, but there is volume up there. So more than likely, eventually it gets back up there as well. We'll take the next one, which is nuclear fuel enrichment. Again, top to bottom is huge, 31 down to 12, 60+% loss. Just starting to break out. And not my favorite name in the space. Some volume at the top. Yeah, this one's okay. You get there, but again, you're going to have to use the dailies to manage your way around that thing. NNE, nanonuclear. Now, this was my fave for a while back in the summer when this thing was rolling, and we got some great pops on it, but we had to come out of it, or at least I did. I suggested to others that you should come out of it, and in particular, I'm going to blow this up so you can see it. When it did this right here, this was a problem. You had volume, and then you went over it, back under it, less volume, right? And you had long tails on both of these. That is a warning sign, folks, that that is not good. You're probably going to get a pullback, and boy, did it get a pullback, all the way from 60 down to 22, 23, say 23. So again, 60 plus 70%. I mean, that's insane. Not something I would sit through. I'm not someone that's going to take those kind of drawdowns. So is it starting to move again? Yeah, it is. It's regenerated, which is good on the weekly here. As you can see the regeneration. This was your retest. You tested here, you tested here, tested here, tested here, still held, got under it right? Look at the volume on that, right? Compared to the volume back here, about the same, as well as the test volume on the way back in. So it was not a clear signal to me. I did not re-enter this. Am I still watching the name? Yes, I am. But would I gravitate to something else like I've talked about, like maybe GEV or something of that nature? Yeah, I think so. There's no reason to push yourself on something like this. Let's go to OKLO. OKLO also huge drawdown, has some volume at the top, 194 basically down to 70. So you lost what, 65, 70%. Doesn't look at it like it when you look over here, right? This thing is done of $5 to 175, but this is pie in the sky stuff, right? A lot of hope built up in these stocks. Is this a fave of mine? No, not really. It did leave some volume up here. Got to pull back off of it because it was a dark candle. If it were to come back in here, you could put on a position and not take very much risk, and it's pretty close to it already. So a little bit of weakness, maybe it's worth a try. So that's OKLO. PCG, this is another energy utility. It's okay, but there's nothing special here. I'm not going to spend time on it. PEG, they sell natural gas, and not interested. SMR, this is one that I thought was going to be great, and look at it, traded up to 56 and then back to $13, $14. I can't handle something like that. Can it pop higher? Yeah. Is it worth it? Probably not. There's better stocks out there. Why trade something that has that much drawdown potential when you have other names that look a lot better? Here's Talon Energy. Nice pop and then drop. And so, even though this still looks good, it's kind of hands off right now in my book. I do not like a candle like I see here on the weekly. So not something I would be playing with. And VST is the last one, Vistra. Again, down here mired in selling. They got to pop up. This is not the place I'd play yet. Worth watching and waiting, but you need a lot of work here to make this thing go. That's the nuclear space. Now, if I go over and switch over and pick up some fuel cells, let's look at these, because over here you've actually got, in particular, Bloom Energy. What a stock! I mean, this is a place that I'm playing, have been looking at. This stock is just light years ahead of everybody else in terms of what it's doing. Yeah, did it get a pullback? Yeah, it did. 147 down to 76. That's huge, but it's gained it all back, and it's done it in 3 weeks. So solid position, breaking out multiple time frames. It's got a confirmed to 225, right, and then another one to 600. Folks, if you want to play in one space, take a hard look at this one. There's a few others here, but they don't look very good. I'm going to show them to you. Here's Fuel Cell. I can't get excited about this stock. Plug, same sort of situation, right? These look like hope stocks to me. And what's the other one I was going to look at? BLDP, which is a Ballard, and same thing. I mean, when I look at something that's got this long-term downtrend, right? I want it to do some work over here before I get too excited about it, not just a straight up kind of move like it had. So it needs more work, and the others that I just showed you the same thing. So Bloom Energy is the one I would be focused on when I'm looking at. So that's the way it looks to me. If you have comments, leave them. Hit a like button if you're interested in what I'm doing, and subscribe. Hit that alert button so you get notifications as soon as these videos hit the tape. Thanks a lot. Have a great one. See you.